Thank you guys for coming. Thank you. Appreciate it.
In this lesson, we're going to go over some more advanced kicks. I would even put these kicks more in the intermediate section, as they're nowhere near the most difficult kicks that we have in Hapkido, and certainly aren't the hardest kicks there are out there. But they are a lot more technical than our beginning kicks. Before we get into our more difficult kicks, we need to do some warm-up kicks first. The first kick we're going to learn is our stretch kick. For our stretch kick, we're just going to lift our leg up and bring it back down. Notice that my leg is going to be straight, so my knee won't be bent. If you start to bend the knee, that means that you're going up too high. So just get it as high as you can without bending the knee. Also, we want to keep our body upright. If you start to curl your body in towards your knee, first of all, we might actually hit our head. But second of all, you're not going to get the appropriate stretch. And we're learning bad posture and bad technique. So let's rep our stretch kick out a few times. Starting with our right foot back, we're going to do 5 reps off our right leg, switch feet, and do 5 reps off our left leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our next warm-up kick is going to be our inside crescent. The inside crescent is going to be thrown off our back leg. We're going to start with our leg extending to the outside part of our body, peaking at its highest point in the middle of our body, and crossing over our front leg to return to the back. So it should kind of feel like a circle. One of the common mistakes people do with this kick is they pivot their body outward too much and throw the kick at this angle, bringing it back before they cross it over their front leg. So we want to make sure our body is facing forward, the kick comes out, peaks in the middle, and then crosses over this leg prior to returning to the back. Let's practice our inside crescent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And switch feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we're going to go over our outside crescent. This kick moves the opposite direction of the inside crescent. So the inside crescent moves toward the inner part of the body. Our outside part of the crescent is going to go to the outside part of the body. To start the outside crescent, we have to cheat our hips so that our kicking toe is pointed toward our base leg. So we cheat our leg in. We're then going to extend our leg so that it crosses the front leg. It's going to peak in the center of our body, just like the inside crescent. And we're going to bring it all the way back down to the beginning. So out, around, and back down. Cheat, around, and down. Let's practice our outside crescent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, just like with our stretch kick, for your inside crescent and your outside crescent, your knee should be straight, so not bent. If you start to bend the knee, you're going too high. It's better to keep your kicks low with good technique than to start throwing them high and risk injuring yourself. The first intermediate kick that we're going to learn is our backside kick. So if you recall, our side kick, we're facing the front, move towards our side, and throw the kick off our side. For our backside, we're going to turn around, looking over our shoulder, and essentially throw a back kick. To chamber our backside kick, we need to turn over our kicking shoulder, looking back at our target. If you're not able to see where you're kicking, you're not chambered far enough. So you need to turn your body until you can see where you're kicking. Then we just throw a back kick, bringing the leg all the way around to where we first started. Here, turn, backside, and plant the leg back into the fighting stance. One of the most common things that I see with beginner students when throwing the backside kick is that they over-rotate, thinking that the kick absolutely has to come from the side of your body, so your body facing your opponent at its side. That's not necessarily wrong, but if we keep it as more of a back kick, we actually have a much more powerful kick. So instead of over-rotating, which takes so much more time and actually weakens the kick, we're just going to rotate to the point where we would throw a back kick, toss our kick, and bring it around. Let's practice our backside. We're going to break it down into two parts. So rotate, pause, kick, and then we're going to smooth it out. For the first part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's smooth it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we'll add another spinning kick. This is our back crescent. As you can see with our back crescent, I'm doing the same loading motion that I did with my back side kick, and then I'm following up with an outside crescent kick that we practiced earlier. So we start loading, and once I've extended my body as far as I can get it, look at my target, I can throw my outside crescent. So let's play with this in two parts, our loading and our outside crescent. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When you're first learning this kick, make sure you take as much time as you need between your load and firing the kick. Now let's smooth it out and do a few reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you might find with this kick that your base foot starts moving all over the floor. Again, it is really important that we try to stay on the front part of our foot while our body is rotating. But the reason that you're going to start moving is that you throw the kick either too soon or too late. So throwing the kick too soon, I'm going to start here where I peak, nowhere near in front of me, and I'll wind up going forward. If I throw the kick too late, where I come almost all the way around, start throwing the kick, peek over here, I'm going to move in the direction of my kicking leg. So to prevent ourselves from moving all over the floor, we want to make sure that we get our timing right, throw the kick so that it lands directly in front of us and comes back so that we're in balance and nice and even. Next kick we're going to learn is our backspin kick. The backspin kick is very similar to the back crescent kick. But instead of our foot coming up and peaking in the center of our body, our toes are going to remain horizontal and our leg will be straight and horizontal all the way across. So instead of getting this effect, we'll get this. We're going to practice the backspin the same way that we practice the back crescent. First, we're going to load the kick, and then we're going to lift the leg and bring it around. So we load, take our time, lift the leg, and bring it around. Let's practice the kick very slow, and then we'll speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's speed the kick up a little. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you need a little bit of extra momentum, we can load with our arms to really whip the kick around. The last kick we're going to learn is our backspin with a hook. And a lot of people actually find this kick to be a lot easier than our backspin kick. For this, we're picturing a target directly in front of us that instead of keeping our leg straight around, we're going to snap the leg to strike the target. So the backspin with a hook. Again, we would practice this the same way that we practice our back crescent and our backspin kick. Since we've already learned the backspin, let's just go ahead and try to add on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to learn a few ways to move with our kicks. We're going to keep it simple and just use our front kick for now, but we can do this with our roundhouse side kicks as well. The first thing we're going to learn is just a moving kick. To do this, we kick, plant our foot in front of us, and follow up with the back leg. So we're basically just walking with our kick. Next, we're going to learn our sliding kick. If you remember our shuffle step, when we're practicing our body movement, the sliding kick works in a similar fashion. Start out the shuffle step movement, and then fire my kick. Land the kick in front. As you can see, when we do our sliding kick, our kicks don't alternate. A way we can get our kicks to alternate while moving, besides just doing our moving kick, is by doing a kick sliding kick. So for this, I would kick, slide, kick, and then follow up with the next leg. Kick, slide, kick. In Hapkido, we practice something called kick combinations to move ourselves forward while kicking. So we can incorporate our kick sliding kicks, we can incorporate our moving kicks, and we can combine certain kicks that we've already learned to progress ourselves forward. So for instance, do my side kick into a back side kick. I can do a roundhouse into a back spin, and so on, with a variety of ways to continue to move forward in a smooth and fluid fashion. Try to move forward by combining some of the kicks that we've learned in a way that feels smooth and fluid. Those are all the Hapkido kicks that we're going to learn in this series. We have so many more, but a lot of them are dynamic kicks, so jumping, explosive kicks. If you have neighbors below you, it's probably not a good idea to practice that in your home. In the next video, I'm going to show you the kicks that we use for our Hapkido body movement drill, However, I won't be able to do the entirety of the drill due to space restrictions in my apartment. So just take each movement and combine them, and you'll have the entire body movement.